Hey, how you doing, baby? Your name, man, you sound so good. What's your name again, Courtney? Oh, man, you got a sexy voice. I can't wait to meet you. I mean, is there any way we can meet anytime soon? We've been on, talking and conversing almost every night for the last few months. I'm yet to even see your face, but I hope you look exactly how you sound. What do you mean you in jail? How are you in jail, man? You talk and text all day long. You got a cell phone in jail, in prison? How do you do that? So you get out in another 6 months. It's all good. That ain't gonna stop anything between us. We still 100. Just keep it real with me next time. That's all I want you to do. Don't lie to me. Just keep it real. I know, baby. I know. I'm nervous too, but I can't wait to meet you. I'm almost there. I got about another 45 miles, and I'm gonna be there. 2 years on the phone. We've been talking. I ain't never met each other. I cannot wait till you come to that door, baby. You done had me drive all the way down here 5-6 hours just for you to tell me this. Just for you been lying to me for 2 years? Man, get off me, man. I'm out of here, man. I'm gone. Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Man, I don't know where you all located at, but I'm in Kentucky, and it is hot. I'm talking about it's like 96 down here today, and that's extremely hot. But nevertheless, the show must go on. For you all that don't know, I am the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Meaning that anytime I drop a video or story, it's guaranteed to be at least 30 minutes. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you just don't feel like being there, as us, most of us typically don't. You're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. You're trying to lay down, take a nap, perhaps you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you view or listen to this video. Or you're just in the mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary / real life story is the channel for you. If you like the 12, 13, 15-minute videos, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But over here, we 30 minutes or better, respectfully. So with all that being said, there is a message. So I'm talking to one of the homies, man, and this was something that was weighing in on his heart, and he just needed somebody to talk to, somebody to confide in, if you will. He gets to talking about a situation that he had with his wife, his family, and it all started back several years ago. Several years ago, they had what's called the Chatline. Now, if you are familiar with the Chatline, or you remember the Chatline, jump in the chats and let me know. Jump in the comments, rather, and let me know if you remember or you're familiar with the chat lines. Because the chat lines are still around. They're just not as popular, from what I understand, as they once were. Being that social media's pretty much come by and, taking over everything. But for you all that are not familiar, the chat line is just basically, it's an 800 number. Sometimes it's a local number you call. And people, you listen to their voice profiles. And if it's something that you're interested in, you leave them a message. They choose to respond. You all get to corresponding, and then you just kind of take it from there. And so this individual, we're just going to call him Gene. It's my homie. I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I think that he's very brave for coming to me, telling me this story. Gene was married, 4 kids, 4 boys. And him and his wife, they were just having a whole lot of difficulty. It was just essentially one of those marriages to where they were just staying together just out of convenience. Just out of, he helps pay the bills. She pays the bills. The kids are comfortable as far as, being in the house with both parents. But they weren't happy. They had been married at this point for 8 or 9 years, but they had been together for several years before they even got married. So like so many dudes do, not all dudes, but like so many dudes do, I'm going to just say people in general, not necessarily just dudes. People in unhappy situations, unhappy marriages, arrangements, relationships, they step out. They seek that attention from someone else, the attention that they're lacking at home or giving at home. Gene decided to call the chat line. He calls the chat line and he meets an individual. He meets an individual on the chat line and, they exchange numbers or what have you. And one conversation leads to two conversations. 2 leads to 4. 4 leads to 8, and so on and so on. Next thing you know, they had been conversing for like a year. Just over the telephone. Now, let me give you all the backstory behind this whole conversation, if you will, that they consistently had over the phone that stemmed from the chat line. The individual that he met, his name was Courtney. They were so compatible. Everything just clicked instantly. All the things that he wanted at home that he was getting from his wife at one point, the attention, the affection, I guess. Now, they didn't physically meet at this point, but still they were, you know, the concern. And so, and when I say the concern, meaning Courtney showed concern for Gene's problems. You see what I'm saying? It was somebody that he could actually talk to and somebody that would actually listen to him instead of just pointing the finger. Well, you did this and you did that and blase, blase, blase. So the two of them hit it off. After about a month, Courtney lets him know, like, listen, I have something to tell you, and, you know, I hope that this doesn't affect, you know, our status, our situation. Gene's like, yeah, what's up? Well, I'm incarcerated right now. He's like, you're incarcerated? Well, I don't get it. Now, mind you, Gene's never been to prison. He's never done any jail time or anything like that. So he doesn't really understand how they can be corresponding and talking to each other almost every night, texting sometimes on a cell phone. Well, at this particular location, you know, prison that I'm at or what have you, a lot of people have cell phones. So Gene is like, wow, well, I mean, you know, what are you in there for? When do you get out? I got about another 6 months and I'm able to come home. Gene's cool with that. He's not upset. Very understanding dude, because Gene understands that who wants to come right out and tell somebody that I'm in prison? Although you should have told him, nevertheless, they continue to converse. For about 3 or 4 months, Courtney ends up getting out a little bit earlier than anticipated. Now they're in 2 different states. They're a couple states over. So I say about 4.5, 5 hours away. The relationship that they had, the friendship that they had, it continued. They continued to talk, you know, whenever they could. Text each other. Now think about it. Back then, there was no social media. It was social media, but it's not nearly as large as it is now. FaceTime and all of that stuff, no. None of that. You was lucky to even have a camera phone back then. We talking 17, 18 years ago. It was a long time ago. And so, as I mentioned, the two, they continue to correspond, and the feelings started to grow, and so they started to discuss, okay, when can we actually arrange to meet each other? Being that Gene is married, he couldn't just up and go, anytime that he wanted to. So he was going to have an excuse, a valid excuse, to be gone for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. Courtney's just now getting out of jail, so trying to get situated and get, when you first come home, you're not exactly landing on your feet. Unless when you went in, you already had something. Most people don't. So these conversations continued for several more months. Now it's been 2 whole years. They've been conversating nearly every single day. They're telling each other they love each other. They miss each other. They can't wait to meet. Ultimately, Gene feels as though he's going to leave his wife, a bad situation, an unhappy situation, to go and be with Courtney. They finally arranged the date to where Gene is going to drive up to Courtney. They're both so excited to meet each other. On the day that Gene was supposed to go and meet Courtney, They had a phone conversation prior to Gene leaving. And Courtney kept asking Gene, do you have anything to ask me? So initially, Courtney's like, Gene is like, no. No. We've been, conversating for the past 2 years. I think that I know everything about you. I don't know. So Courtney's like, I'm just kind of nervous. It's just different when you actually meet somebody, face to face. Yeah, we've been talking on the phone and texting. But to meet you face to face is just, I'm excited. I want to. But I just want to make sure that there's no surprises or anything like that between us. There's nothing that you have to ask me before you drive here. Again, it's 4.5 hours away. 4.5, 5 hours away. No. Now, we're in Kentucky. Courtney's in Georgia. So, like I said, 4.5, maybe 5.5 hours, depending on, how fast, how slow you drive. Courtney asked Gene this at least 3 or 4 times. Gene's starting to get a little, concerned, like, why does Courtney keep asking me these questions? Nevertheless, they work it out. He's on the road. Gene's on the road. They're talking. They pretty much talk the entire time. Not the entire time, but they pretty much talk the entire time. Well, come on, Kens. How you know this now? How you know this? Because I talked to Gene, and Gene kept it 100 with me, and he told me. He told me. Give me some water. Hurry up, motherfucker. We ain't come on here to watch you drink water. Get to the story. So he's going to visit or what have you. They, on the phone, as I mentioned. And he finally gets there. When he gets there, he pulls up. It's dark at this point. He wasn't able to leave, as early as he wanted to leave. So it's dark outside. Okay, baby, I'm here. He's calling, no answer. He's calling, no answer. Now, when I say, okay, baby, I'm here, he called, no answer, so he sends a text. Baby, I'm here, I'm outside. No response. I wonder what's going on. Maybe Courtney jumped in the shower. Maybe doesn't hear the doorbell. I don't know. Ringing the doorbell, no answer. Knocking on the door, no answer. Calling the phone, no answer. I know I didn't just drive all the way down here for nothing. Nah, it has to be something. Maybe something's wrong with the phone. I don't know. Kept ringing the doorbell, whatever. About 10, 15 minutes passes. Nothing. Gene, he's starting to get, now he's a little concerned / upset. Man, what is going on? Goes back to the door. Boom, 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 boom. He's not banging. He's just knocking on the door. He turns to walk away, to walk back to the car. He hears the door open. The door opens, but it opens slowly. So when the door opens slowly, he's looking. He's seeing that the door is open, but it's pitch dark inside of the house. And again, it's at nighttime, so it's dark outside. It's pitch dark inside of the house, so he's wondering what's going on. Courtney sticks his head from behind the door. Yes. Hey, baby, what you doing, man? I've been out here knocking. I know I was just a little nervous. I wasn't going to let you drive off. I was watching you, so I wasn't going to let you drive off. I was just, I don't know, my anxiety. I was just nervous. I was just nervous. I don't know. I was just nervous. So what's up, baby? Can I come in? You know, and why is it so dark? Now, he's standing in the doorway. He notices that Courtney has on like some bright lingerie, like a purple and gold or something like that lingerie. Man, baby, why you standing, behind the door or whatever? But again, he understands that Courtney's a little nervous. Well, before you come in, I have something to tell you. Man, somebody trying to set me up? Somebody trying to rob me? Are you? What you got to tell me? What you got to do to something? You acting kind of weird, man. You acting real weird. What do you got to tell me? Well, you remember when I kept asking you, do you have anything to ask me? Yes, I do remember. I mean, you asked me several times. I told you I don't have anything else to ask you. Me and you, we 100, man. You done told me everything that I've ever asked you. You've been honest with me. So, no, I don't have anything to ask you. Well, I have something to tell you. Before I let you in, I have to let you know that I'm trans. Now, Gene is kind of green at this particular time, so you're trans. What? What do you mean you're trans? I'm a transsexual. What is a transsexual? What? Oh my God, you don't know what a transsexual is? Basically, and you know, Courtney went on to explain exactly what it is that, you know, he explained to Gene, and Gene was furious. What? You mean to tell me all this time that we've been talking? All the time that we've been texting? The times that we done told each other how we felt about each other, we loved each other, the intimate things that we've done over the phone? And this whole time that you're a dude? Well, it's not that I'm a dude, it's just that, you know, I was born a dude, but the inner feelings and the way that I feel and the inside I feel as though I'm a woman. And let me say this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with whatever you decide that you want to be and however that you feel. Let's get that straight. I'm not knocking anybody whatsoever for their desires. What they decide that, you know, the lifestyle that they decide that they want to live. So they're going back and forth. And Gene is like, there's no way. There's no way. How are you talking like this? How are you sound just like a, well, I take these, you know, hormone pills and you know, basically just explaining, running everything down to Gene to where Courtney's trying to make him understand exactly what it is. I have to be very careful with my words. So that's why I'm somewhat, you know, I'm just having to be very, very careful with what I say on YouTube. So Gene is like I said, he's furious. He storms off. Please wait, I don't mean you have to leave. Man, get off me. Courtney grabs Gene's arm. Get off me, man. Drives to the car. Or walks to the car. Before he even gets out of the driveway, he gets a text message. Obviously, it's from Courtney. I'm sorry if I hurt you. Just come inside and let me give you fellatio, for lack of better terms. Let me give you some fellatio and you know, sit back and relax. I cooked or what have you. Gene ain't hearing that. Gene's not hearing that whatsoever. He don't respond. Jumps in the car, immediately heads back to Kentucky. He's flying home. He can't believe it. He's mad. He's furious. He's angry. He's hurt. I cannot believe that I done got catfished. 2 whole years of dealing with this individual. And you let me get in my car and drive all the way down here just for you to tell me that you are not who I thought that you were? Just for you to tell me that you're actually a dude? He gets back home. Baby, I thought you had to go out of town. Yeah, the trip got shortened. He tells his wife whatever, so he's back home. You know what? I'm going to just work things out with my wife, man. I'm done with this jumping on the chat line. And because he had been on the chat line before and things never really materialized or, you know, worked out as far as the people that he was meeting. Probably about a week later, he gets a random text. 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, I'm very sorry for what I did to you. Is there any way that we can work this out? It's Courtney. He don't respond. Back then, I don't think you could really like block numbers or anything like that. He doesn't respond. Every so often, these text messages will come through. 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Sexual text messages. I can do this to you. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this better than your wife, or, you know. He don't respond. Probably after about the 4th or 5th text message, he responds. He said, listen, I know where you live at. I don't appreciate what you did to me. The next time that you text my phone, me and a couple of my homies going to come up there, and it's not going to be good. Don't call, don't text my phone no more. I'm not interested. Courtney obliges. Courtney never calls or texts the phone. A couple months ago past. I'll say about a month. I believe he told me like a month went past. He decides to reach out to Courtney. He's thinking about all the conversations that they had, the intimate things that they've told each other. The things that he confided in Courtney. You know, they confided in each other. It's a surprise to hear from you. I never thought that I'd hear from you again. I just want to know why you do me like that, man. That's not something that you... Is this something that you would typically do? First of all, you didn't even tell me that you was in jail. You led me to believe that you was a woman. And then you didn't even tell me and at least give me the option. Just at least give me the... Nah, I'm not with that. But you just did it anyway. I just didn't know how to tell you. And before we went any further and before you came in, I didn't want it to be a surprise. You didn't want it to be a surprise. It was already a surprise. What do you mean you didn't want it to be a surprise? So they get all of the hurt feelings and anger out of the way. Next thing you know, they're conversating again. Texting. How was your day? I do kind of miss talking to you. But I don't swing that way, but I've developed feelings for you. All the time that we, as I mentioned, the times that we talk and the many hours that we put in, I've developed feelings for you. Well, can we try this again since you know now there's no more secrets? There's no more anything. You can come back. I'm not with anybody. You know, maybe you can come back up here for a day or two and we won't even have to do anything. We just sit down face to face and talk. And I don't know. I don't know about that. They continue to converse over the phone. Things at home continue to get, you know, worse or no better. Gene finds himself on the road making that drive again. Now he's curious. He's inquisitive. He's intrigued. He gets back to Courtney's house. This time, you know, Courtney, he arrives and it's not nighttime or what have you. Courtney comes to the door, lets him in. They talking. They just conversating or whatever, just kind of catching up with each other. Just talking. You know how it is when you haven't seen somebody. Well, in this case, they had never really met other than that first time. So they're talking, drinking a little bit. Courtney had cooked, smoking or whatever, just having a good time. One thing leads to the next. They do what they do. Now, he didn't get into detail as far as what they did, but he just said we did what we did. I'm sure that most people can put 2 and 2 together. Stayed for a couple nights. Came back home. Gene would often make this trip once a month, once every month and a half. So now wifey, she's really to the point to where she doesn't even ask him what he does at this point. It is what it is. He's doing him. I'm going to go do me. Problem is, wifey wasn't really the I'm going to do me type. She was a loyal individual that was all about her family. She worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3, to take care of those 3 kids. Gene worked just as well, but, you know, as far as the family part, that he had pretty much just given up on that. Gene's living a secret life. Now, obviously, you know, women are very intuitive. She suspected something, but she didn't know to what magnitude it was. They become, and when I say they, Courtney and Gene, they become, I guess you could say, in love. They're not afraid to go out in public or anything like that because, after all, Gene is in a totally different state. Nobody up here in Georgia knows me. So they would go out, they would have fun, they would kick it or what have you. The dangerous part is when you playing with somebody like that and their feelings are involved, they get tired of you just getting up and going home. Whether it's a man, whether it's a woman, they get tired of laying down sleeping with you And now you get up and go home, and you going home to your wife. You say you're unhappy. You say you don't want to be there. How come you're not up here with me? Oh. I mean, you tripping. How am I tripping? I done told you everything. I've given you all of me. You accepted me. And it's like, even when we do go out, you don't want to go out. It's though I have to force you to go out. You ashamed of me? You ashamed? It's all good when we're at home and there's no one else around. You love me then. Here he goes. Gene starts to fall back. Nah, man, I can't do this. Courtney's tripping, man. Courtney's tripping. It's just a little experiment. It's just something, I went up there, had fun a couple times, and we really didn't even do, I let her do things to me. I let Courtney do things to me. I never had actual, relations, if you will, with Courtney. Gene falls back. He's not really calling Courtney as much. He's not really responding, not really texting too much. He's really determined that, you know what, man, my home life means more to me. This was just a little something that I was totally not interested in whatsoever. And then once I learned, I was upset. But that me being upset kind of turned to curiosity. He said he got to, started watching movies and actually doing his research, and it led to curiosity on his behalf. So he tried something that he had never tried before. Courtney wasn't just going out like that. Now, at this point, Courtney had a vehicle. Had been out for a while, been at the job, got a vehicle. Oh, so you don't want to come up here? I'm coming to you. I don't know exactly, and I need to ask him this. I don't know exactly how Courtney was able to get Gene's address. I need to ask him. But he had Gene's address. Pulls up one day, knocking on the door, ringing the doorbell. Gene's not there. But his wife is. She comes to the door. May I help you? Yeah, I'm looking for Gene. Gene is not here. May I help you? Just let him know that Courtney came over here looking for him. Well, who are you? Who are you to him? I'll let him explain that. Just know that Courtney came over here looking for him. Courtney leaves. Now Gene's wife is furious. Who is this Courtney? And not only who is this Courtney, but Courtney appears to be a dude. Gene gets home. His wife confronts him immediately. Tells him of the situation that happened. Tells him of Courtney coming by. Now Gene he's baffled. How's she even know where I live at? Just gonna drive up 4.5, 5, 6 hours away? Banging on my door, and you done told my wife? You done told my wife about us? He calls Courtney up. He's cussing Courtney out over the phone. Man, you can't do nothing like that, man. I don't care. I love you. And you're not going to just play with my feelings like that. Yeah, it's all good when we're at home. But nah, I'm not going out like that. And if I got to come back, I will. So now the threats come. Yeah, come back over here and see what happens. Come back over here and see what happens. It's not going to end well. So they going back and forth. He's arguing with his wife. He's trying to convince his wife that, nah, it ain't nothing like that. Baby, it's a long story, but it's nothing. It's nothing like that whatsoever. Wifey's not buying that. But it's like, okay. I'm going to do my investigation. I'm going to talk. I'm going to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to believe you for now. But wifey didn't really believe that. Now, women dig. Women's going to dig, man. They're going to find, respectfully, though. I say this respectfully. If you're doing something, or if a woman even thinks that you're doing something, she's going to dig. And anything that you're doing, she's going to get to the bottom of it. So if you're out there and you're doing dirt and you living, you know, double lives or double life and you think that you're getting away with something because your wife or your woman hadn't said anything, just best believe she's doing her research, or she's in the process of getting ready to do her research. The two of them ended up talking again. This time they talked for a while. Courtney had details of when Jean had been up there, details of exactly how they met, time frames, text messages, everything. There was no denying it at this point. There was absolutely no denying it. Jean's confronted by his wife. She's sick about it. She is absolutely sick. Jean he gets to the point to where he tells Courtney, listen, if you come back over, you've already ruined my life. You've ruined my home life. Courtney's threatening to tell everybody, all his friends, all the people around, if you do something like that, I'm going to take my own life. If you tell all the people about us, I'm going to take my own life, man. And it'll be your fault. Just know that it's on your hands, man. I've asked you to leave me alone. You won't leave me alone. I told you, it's over with. You and I are no more. There was never really anything in the first place. We're done. Totally finished. Courtney's sad. But Courtney's also angry, upset. You didn't play with Courtney's heart. You didn't play with Courtney's heart. And Courtney wasn't feeling that. All the broken promises, all the things that you said that you were going to do, just for you to tell me that you're going to go back and stay at home with your wife that doesn't make you happy. I'm not feeling that at all. One night, Gene's at home with his wife, and they have been arguing about this situation. He's assuring her that it was just a one-time thing, as far as he was just curious. He didn't know initially. Courtney looked just like a woman, spoke just like a woman, had, you know, movement just like a woman. But as his wife said, Courtney's not a woman. I don't care how you act. I don't care how you move. I don't care how you talk. Courtney is not a woman. And you stepped out on me with this individual. They arguing back and forth, man. Kids is home, everything. His wife begins to complain of chest pain. My chest is hurting. Sits down for a second. Chest continues to hurt. She ends up going into the bathroom. She's in the bathroom, you know, for probably about 10 minutes. They hear a loud thump noise. Boom! Mom, are you okay? Everybody's at the door. The door's locked. Mom, are you okay? No answer. Dad, I think Mom, there's a loud noise that we heard in the bathroom, and boom, they bust through the door. His wife is laying on the floor. She had fallen over and hit her head on the side of the tub. They take her out, put her on the couch. She's conscious. She's saying that she don't want to go to, you know, 911 or whatever. She'll be okay. She just got dizzy and she slipped and she fell. Nah, we call her 911. They call 911. 911 comes. They take her to the hospital. About a half an hour later, they pronounced her no longer with us. It was perceived to be a heart attack, but at that particular time, they didn't know exactly. But once they, you know, they had to do the observations and autopsies, and it was determined that she had a heart attack. She had anxiety. The stress that she had, the stress that allegedly that her husband Gene had caused on her was just too much. And in the middle of them arguing, she had a heart attack. and is no longer with us. 4 young boys. They weren't all young, but, you know, they were teenagers. They couldn't take care of themselves. All left without a mother. Jean's actions for so long. Now, we can't necessarily just say that it was solely because of Jean, but a lot of people feel that way, and Jean feels that way. And he had this on his heart. And he never told anybody. So when he came to me and he told me this, he said, listen, brother, please don't look at me no different. And when he told me that, man, I was proud of the fact that he was able to get that off of his chest. You know, when you hold a secret sometimes, you just want to tell somebody, but you don't want to be judged. You don't want anybody to look at you kind of sideways. Now, do I agree with what Gene did in his lifestyle? Absolutely no. But that's not my business. It's not for me to judge. It's not for anybody to judge him. He decided that he wanted to try something. And, you know, these were the results. There's all type of messages within this message. First of all, stay off from chat lines. Stay off the chat lines. Because typically when you're on the chat lines, you're going to meet somebody and they're not who they say they are, typically. Or somebody is trying to get some money from you or set you up, have you robbed. It's nothing good that comes from the chat lines, in my opinion. Don't be stepping outside of your relationship. Whether you're married or you're just in a relationship. If you don't want to be in that relationship, if you don't want to be married, then leave the relationship. Yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to sting. But guess what? She'll be okay. She'll get over it. I'm quite sure that most women, most people would rather you let them know, hey, listen, I'm not in love anymore. I don't feel the same about you anymore. This is just not working. So we need to go in our separate directions, opposed to you just staying somewhere to where you don't want to be. Playing house. I feel so sad for the kids, which they're not kids at this point. But still, I feel for them because they had a hard-working mother. To my knowledge, never known her to step out. Even Gene said, man, I never, ever knew her to step out on me. But yet he had stepped out on her. This wasn't the first time. This is just the first experience that he had under these circumstances. But he had stepped out. She had caught him. Caught numbers in his phone, in his pocket. Talked to other women before. So she was just so stressed out over their relationship. It just hit the fan, man. He blames himself to this day for her no longer being here. And he just had to tell somebody, and it just so happened to be me. So I asked him, could I share this story? I didn't just share it. I asked him, and he said if it'll help somebody, definitely share the story. If only if I could go back and just change things, do things differently. Y'all know how I do the manual rewind. Merchandise coming soon, man. Working on it again today. It's a process, but it's definitely coming soon. Unfortunately, in life, you can't just, mess up and let me take this back. Be great if you could, but life just doesn't work that way. We get one life to live. We have to make the best of decisions while we're here. We're not always going to make the right decision. But see, the thing about it is you don't want to continuously make the wrong decisions over and over and over again. Because in this particular situation, Gene doesn't have a wife. Because of his decisions, even if it wasn't solely that, he feels as though it contributed to her no longer being here. I once made the bad mistakes or decisions. Because there's a difference between a mistake and a decision. A bad decision, rather. See, if I go to the store and my baby says, hey, baby, give me a Pepsi, and I come back with a Coca-Cola, that's a mistake. My bad, baby. That's a mistake. But if I go out here and I rob a bank or I rob somebody, I do something that I know is wrong, and then I get caught up, no, that's not a mistake. That's a bad decision that I made. It's a big difference between the two. And bad decision after bad decision landed me in prison. 3-time loser, man. 3 times. You would think that after the first time, okay, everybody makes, bad decisions, what have you. But then there was a second time. And there was a third time. And there were other times that I could have landed in prison besides the times that I actually did. Just so happens to where, at that particular moment, I didn't get caught. But it all caught up with me in the end. That's how life works, man. Do the right thing simply because it's the right thing to do. Now, I'm speaking to everybody, anybody that'll listen, but, I primarily focus on the youth, the kids, because you can still reach them. They potentially will listen to you at this point. Most won't, but some will. But anybody that's willing to listen, man. People are having hard times. I discussed this on my live last night. People are having hard times out here, man. Times are hard. I understand. Everything is going up. Pause. Double pause. But you got the rent that's just, landlords raising the rent. Car insurance is going up. Gas is going up. Food is going up. Clothes. Cost of living. Everything is going up. But you're paid. So I understand the temptation that you may have to go out here and do something that's not on the up and up. But before you do that, think about this. Think about if you're in prison and they come to you one day and tell you that your mother has passed away or that your grandfather's passed away. A lot of us are close to our grandparents. I know I was. Or that your brother or your sister or your wife or your girl or one of your kids, Lord forbid, has passed away. Your father. And you're not even out here to help. You're not even out here to do anything whatsoever because you locked in prison. Think about that before you decide to go out here and make that bad choice, that bad decision. If you broke out here, I understand, get you another job. Get you a YouTube channel. It's not going to happen overnight. I did YouTube for 10 months before I ever, maybe 10, 11 months before I ever seen a dime. Because I don't do YouTube for money. It just happens to come along with it at some point. Get out here and DoorDash or Uber or deliver pizzas or deliver newspapers. Do something on the side to make ends meet, opposed to going out here making a wrong choice, making a wrong decision, and then you find yourself in prison and you on the phone begging people out here on the street, hey, can you send me $50? They got pizza this week. They got burgers this week. They got steaks this week. Now you become a burden. And people love you, so they're going to send what they can send in most cases or in a lot of cases. But why be a burden on your family? Why be away from your kids, your loved ones? People that genuinely care about you, to be around a bunch of dudes or a bunch of hard ankles all day long. All of this correlates as far as making the right choices and the right decisions in life. Are we going to make mistakes? Are we going to still mess up from time to time? Yes. But see, there's levels to messing up. Don't mess up to where you're going to take yourself away from your family and your loved ones. But more importantly, don't mess up and make a mistake or a bad decision that's going to take your loved ones away from you. R.I.P. to Gene's wife, man. Praying for y'all, man. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment. Definitely share. Subscribe to the Chatline if you're not already subscribed. And be sure to hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action and this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. People are saying they're not getting the notifications about my videos. Fret not. Don't worry about it. All you all have to do is just check my channel every single day or every other day whenever you're in the mood, to watch Real Kens. I typically drop every day. If it's not every day, it's 6 days a week. I'm going to bring you that action and I'm going to bring you that heat. And that merchandise is being worked on, and it's coming real, real soon.